I'm Yawin Gussie. Currently, I'm a trained nurse by profession and a health administrator and also a pro-life campaigner. And I work with the Archdiocese, the Catholic Archdiocese of Monrovia.
Good afternoon. My name is Reverend Sanji Stepter, Second Vice President of the Liberian Council of Churches, moderator of the Presbyterian Church, but I'm acting now as the acting president of the Liberian Council of Churches.
Good afternoon to all. My name is Dr. Benedetta Collins Andrews. I'm a pediatrician by training, and I currently serve as the chairperson of the Liberian Medical and Dental Council.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Bento Zogle Teunge, a public health technician who works with the Ministry of Health as director for the Family Health Program that has the responsibility for reproductive, maternal, newborn, child, and adolescent health in Liberia. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Ayon K. Casio III. I'm a consultant urologist. I'm also the current president of the Liberian Medical and Dental Association. Thank you.
Dr. Councillor S. Mohammed Sharif, here accompanying the president of the Liberian Medical and Dental Association. Thank you.
My name is Reverend Dr. George Oba. I'm the founder of the National Glasgow Pastor Association, and I'm the coordinator of the International Human Rights Convention in Liberia.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Attorney Philomena Tubad Williams, the president of the Association of Female Lawyers of Liberia. And cognizant that this proposed law affects women and girls, we are here as observers.
I'm Attorney Paolo Taylor Kelly, Vice President of the Association of Female Lawyers of Liberia. I'm here to observe the process.
Good morning to all. I'm Anthony Naomi Fort Wilson, and I'm a member of the Association of Female Lawyers of Liberia. We are here to observe the process. Thank you.
Please go and qualify the invitees. Don't qualify the observers.
Please rise.
I, Dr. Benedetta Collins Andrews,
Do hereby swear
do hereby swear
that the testimony I'm about to give
that the testimony I'm about to give
and to my recollection is the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
So help me.
No. Chairman, witnesses on the stands are qualified.
So distinguished colleagues, there are protocols, and this is the committee of the whole. I will not turn over to the chair of the committee on health.
Please, I'm sorry, but you have been very patient with this Ministry of Health. And here on the citation here, Dr. Jala was cited specifically And you have also been very keen calling minister in a proper fine way. One time we said here that we were developing the impression that Minister Jala keeps avoiding her own call her. I see her again, she's not here. She called two deputies, and I respect that, the two deputies. But I think this is becoming a pattern from this ministry of health that is not good. And I just wanted to raise that. And I guarantee you she's going to another workshop. She's the workshop woman in the whole country. She's going to one again. I just want to know down the record.
Are we asking where is she?
Where is she? What answer?
No, that's the question. Yeah, Pro Tem, in essence, do we have any communication why the Minister of Health is not here? Thank you, sir.
We know that.
So the two deputies out of discussion with me and told me why the minister is not here. So and I granted that permission. All right, Pro Tem. Thank you, Pro Tem. Let me welcome you all again to this public hearing. Where's the secretary? Oh, you waited back there. Can you please read the communication inviting the witnesses here today?
Mr. Presiding Officer and Chair of the Committee on Health, every letter, almost all letters carry the same content, with little amendments in each. I would like to read the one sent to the Minister of Health and one to non-governmental institutions. Dear Madam Minister, I present my compliments and my Director of the Liberian Senate in section. I apprise you that great concerns have been raised by members of the Senate regarding the revised public health law of Liberia. The matter being debated by the plenary of the Senate. This body will help me to cite you to appear before the Senate as a committee of a whole on Tuesday, November 28, 2023 at this hour in the Senate Chamber Annex. Please be informed further that the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Francis N. Carter, the Medical Consultant, Dr. Peter S. Coleman, the Medical and Dental Association, the Catholic Health Secretariat, the Liberian Council of Churches, and the Catholic Bishops' Conference have also been cited on the same matter and will be in attendance. Please accept the renewed assurances of my highest consideration and esteem. Kind regards, sincerely, Secretary of the Senate. To government institutions. They want to non-governmental institutions. The Reverend Father Dennis Nimley, Catholic Bishops' Conference, Republic of Liberia. Dear Reverend Father Nimley, I present my compliments and my Director of the Liberian Senate in section apprise you that great concerns have been raised by members of the Senate regarding the revised public health law of Liberia. The matter being debated by the plenary of the Senate, this body will have been to cite you to appear before the Senate as a committee of a whole on Tuesday, November 28, 2023 at this hour in the Senate Chamber Annex. Please be informed further that the Minister of Health, the Liberia Medical and Dental Association, the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Francis N. Carter, the Catholic Health Secretariat, the Liberia Council of Churches, and the medical consultant, Dr. Peter S. Coleman, have also been cited on the same matter and will be in attendance. Please accept the renewed assurances of my highest consideration and esteem. Kind regards, the Secretary of the Senate. Mr. President Pro Tempore, two portions of the letter to the non-governmental organization and the governmental organization.
Thank you, SG. Mr. Baptiste, we have listened to the reading of the communication, the respective communication sent out to you, inviting you to be here today. I'm sure you read them before you came. And so our purpose here today is to get your opinion further on the public health law, particularly the provision that has to do with abortion. As you may know, the law has been here with the legislature for about 4 years, since it was submitted by the executive. Last July, the public health law in its entirety was passed by the House of Representatives and forwarded as per our procedure to the Senate for concurrence. The Senate decided to do further due diligence, even though we are aware that as a Senate and as a House of Representatives, we formed a joint committee comprising the Committee on Health of the Senate and the Committee on Health of the House. That committee was formally chaired by former Senator Dr. Peter S. Coleman. I am the successor to Senator Coleman, and Senator Coleman has been a consultant to the Joint Committee since he left the Senate. I'm sorry he's not here today, but he has been at previous public hearings and consultations and meetings that we have had on this instrument. And you two have been here many times. If I'm correct, this should be a fourth time coming to us since this instrument was submitted by the House of Representatives last year. The religious community, the health community, especially Ministry of Health, the Medical and Dental Council, and all of you have been here many times before. And you have given us your expert opinions on this law. Of course, for your information, we have no problem. No issues have been raised with the rest of the law. Because this is a public health law that embodies many areas of the law. But the only provision of the law that is contentious is the abortion provision. And this is one we have been debating as a Senate many times, and for we have called you here to public hearings and consultations over and over again. And that's why we have called you again, because this law was reintroduced on the floor when we resumed session a week ago. So we thought that there are colleagues who are still not clear about the law. And they wanted to hear from you, in this kind of section, because what we had before had been a committee public hearing. So we decided that we should constitute ourselves into a committee of the whole, where all of the senators will be present to participate, to hear from you, and you hear from them, hear their whatever reservations they have, so that you can clarify them, so that we can see whether we can get the votes that are needed to pass the public health law. That's why you are here. And so we want to start with the Ministry of Health, since this law originated on you, to let us know why you think the abortion law will have abortion law.
Mr. Chairman, information.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman and colleagues, witnesses. Mr. Chairman, I want to bring to your attention that not just the issue of an abortion, but there were issues raised the last in our last session about sex education. So let us not just limit the conversation to abortion, but that portion should also be discussed.
Yeah,
and other issues of the
Thank you. The abortion provision provides for sex education. So yeah, they want to talk about that as well. Thank you. Yes? Any other intervention?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Since indeed the Minister of Health is here with this institutional representation, I also want us to, as we discussed the last time, the issue of emergency patients being abandoned at night, just dying en route to the next hospital also needs to, they need to also address it.
Mr. Happy, take note of that. All right, then.
That doesn't relate to the content of the petition.
Well, yeah, I guess ask them to take note of that. If they want to speak to it, thank you. We are here to discuss the public health law, not necessarily.
Mr. Presiding, distinguished senators, fellow Liberians, members of the prelate, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here representing Minister Wilmina Jala and acting as Minister of Health. We've come precisely in response to the communication sent to the Honorable Minister, citing her and the Chief Medical Officer to address the growing concern. We had a sense of confusion, but thankfully the presiding has provided some clarity, except with the amendment or the additional information provided by Senator Sir Joseph on the inclusion of the sex education. The public health law in its entirety is a regulation about the public health policies in our country. As you may be aware, this is an amendment that we are seeking. What, however, baffles us amidst all of the concerns and the objections on clauses being raised is that other than emerging medical development or sciences, the issue of abortion have existed from time immemorial in our public health law. Now, to have a group of Liberians to have an objection on the passage of this law only because there is, in fact, a refined and improvement section of the abortion, it wonders us. Another point we'd like to make as a concern to us too, as a ministry and Liberians, is we wonder.
Other from Senator Silver.
Please, Mr. Speaker, please do not refer to this body as a group of Liberians.
No,
this is the entire country. We represent the political landscape of this country. So please rephrase that statement and refer to us as Liberia. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator. And pardon me for the use of the wrong words. Distinguished senators, and my reference to a group of Liberians didn't mean you, but actually those persons who are opposed. Yeah. So just for the purpose of clarity. So again, speaking to the distinguished senators who have the sole authority to pass this law, I want to say to you in the clearest of terms that again, I will repeat what we said earlier.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Please, what do you want to say? What do you want to talk about?
Can I stand?
Yes, sit down here. Can you sit down here?
Okay.
What do you want to talk about?
What he's saying, I mean, what he's referring to the Liberians who are against the law as a bunch of Liberians.
That's a misquotation.
That's what I'm trying to understand. Okay, so I'm trying to.
Wait.
That's a misquotation.
Yeah, that one. What I
Okay, that's okay. You are now.
Okay, thank you.
Minister, continue.
Thank you. So again, just speaking up from where I landed, that firstly accepting the corrections made by the distinguished senator, that it concerns me that us Liberians in general will now raise an objection or a concern about abortion inclusion in the public health law, where in fact it exists in the current public health law. What the ministry has sought and continues to seek the approval from the honorable senators is a refinement within a defined period of time on the passage of this bill. We want to state categorically that the public health law, especially the section that calls for the permission under medical condition of abortion, is not intended to carry on a mass murder. It is intended to save the lives of women whose life will be at risk. So there are already there are methods, there are regulations, and there are institutional frameworks that allows for preventions. But in the event where even a desired pregnancy poses a risk to the life of the woman, we think it is rightful for us as medical practitioners to terminate it, because we are under oath to protect and to protect and secure the life. I wouldn't want to go in details on the technical issues and importance of it. I'll leave that with the Chief Medical Officer, whose key responsibility is to explain and justify why we think.
Senator Nugwe?
Yeah, I'd like for you to little bit expound on those who are going to be charged with responsibility to care of abortion. That is an area of protection for some of us.
I thought what we do first is please.
Just provide an overview.
Just an overview. Let give the opportunity and let provide the overview. Leader, please.
Have they considered asking Fashion to produce condom in Liberia?
Well, you ask your question. Senator Snow. Please. So what we do, let's give them an opportunity to provide an overview, and you have an opportunity to ask your question or provide your perspective. Yes, sir.
I need to put there for you to make presentation on that aspect.
Well, they'll come to that. So they can provide overview.
We have made several presentations and we can make more presentations. However, our focus this afternoon is to give the summary, since in fact this is committee in whole, with the assumption that every senator in here has a copy of the public health law as was passed by the lower house. But on the specific question on who are those that are authorized or will be authorized to do so, again, that is one of the improvements made in the public health law as suggested by the Ministry of Health. In previous time, there was no definition on who carries out. It was permissible to every woman who desired to carry out abortion. But this time we have attached a time frame and also specify who is eligible. And that includes medical doctors and midwives that are trained specifically to deal with reproductive health. So again, I will refer you to Dr. Francis Keter, who will pick up from this point. I just wanted to give that as a whole. Now to the specific question on the minister's absence. She's currently... Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes. Honored Chair and members of this great body, I'm humbled to stand before you and based on the oath that I took as a doctor and an oath that I took during my confirmation to protect the life of every Liberian, it falls within my purview to give to you why it is important that there is a refinement in the public health law. Let me begin by giving you my personal story, and probably from there then I can go into the details and give you statistics. As a young doctor, I was trained with this ethical belief, both ethical and moral belief, that abortion should not be done. In 1997, as a young doctor in Ganta, a pastor came to me and brought his 14-year-old daughter who was pregnant and asked me if I could help him because, one, it would have brought shame to him as a pastor, but also this is a daughter who was just 14 years of age. I grieved with him, I empathized with him, but I told him, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do that. About 7 hours later, I was called to the emergency room. And when I got to the emergency room, something happened that changed me as a person. This girl was lying on the emergency bed. Her father had taken her to someone, a quack, who went in and perforated the uterus at every angle. This pregnancy was almost 5 months. The smaller intestine, I'm sorry for being graphic, but I'm just letting you know what is happening in this country. The small intestine came out, and this quack cut the small intestine and saw feces. And he got afraid and left this girl. They brought her to the hospital, I saw her, and the first thing that went to my mind, had I taken 15 to 30 minutes, probably I would have saved this girl's life. The next thing was to take her into the operating room, operated her, and there was no way to save her uterus. So I had to do a medical procedure, total hysterectomy. I did that, and to save her life. The sad thing about this situation is that this lady is alive today. Thank God she's safe. But every time I leave this country and go back to the United States, for some reason, she gets to know and call me, Dr. Katie, how are you doing? And it brings back those memories. This girl has been divorced twice. Why? Because the first time she got married, she could not bear a child and end up into a divorce. The second happened. So, this happened in 1997. Today, we have so many things happening here in Liberia, and the law under which we operate, the 1976 law, gives a woman the right. It gives the woman the right to self-abortion by using any means up to 6 months. Go and read the 1976 law, public health law. It gives the woman the right to use any means for self-abortion. What we sought to do, based on what is happening and the development of technology and so forth, is, yes, it is true that our role is education. This is why we talk about sex education. Under sex education, we talk about abstinence. But not everyone will abstain. Not everyone will be under the right moral standing in order to take certain decisions. And sometimes things happen. If a female decides that, look, I'm not prepared to carry this child to birth, we feel that it has to be done safely. And this is the caveat that is very critical on which we tend to operate. Let me just give you just a statistic from from 2021. When we did the National Abortion Incidence Report, what we saw in 2021, 38,779 abortions occur in this country. 16% of all pregnancies ends up into abortion. Today, for every 1,000 live births, 229 ends up in abortion. Today, we have a high maternal mortality rate. These abortions, about 10% of all of our maternal death in this country is due to abortion. How many women are we going to lose? How many young girls are we going to lose? And so what we are trying to do is that if this can be done safely, where the practitioners know exactly what to do. Not only that, the law of 1976 did not criminalize abortion. In this present law, we have a level that if there are certain procedures and processes have to be followed in order for abortion to occur. In the absence of those processes and procedures, it could be a criminal effect. And so, this is not basically we saying that abortion is something that is acceptable and so forth. But what we are trying to do is to safeguard, to protect the lives and give the individual the opportunity to decide what is good for themselves. And this is what we are doing. And based on what you have done for us, placing us into the position to protect life of all Liberians, this is why we are trying to make sure if abortion is done safely in a conducive environment where that female that is carrying that unborn can fully recover and have a better life. In the absence of that, we are going to see a huge maternal mortality rate in this country. And we're going to see other implications, because even if a woman does not die in the process, you have infection rate. You have other things that we have to take care of. And so again, honorable members of this great Senate, it falls within your purview to understand we all have religious belief, but at the same time we have to find a time to distinguish what is going to affect the life of people from our personal. As Dr. Kitty, as Princess Kitty, like I indicated, I'm a Methodist, and that's not something that I was willing to do. But based on the lesson that I learned, yes, again, this is why education, sex education is placed into this. This is why under the Family Health Division, we work with the school system and put in all of the protective gear so that we cannot get to that point. But whenever we get to the point, like any other diseases, HIV and other things, if we get to that point, what are the alternatives? And if there are alternatives, what is the right and safest way to provide care to those individuals? This is what we are doing. And this is why we feel that please go ahead, as the lower house, the House of Representatives, have done due diligence. We are appealing to you to please do same. If you do not, then of course, remember, we are dealing with law. Remember the 1976 law still stands. So a female has the right to carry on self-abortion. Please remember that. Thank you.
Thank you, Dad.
Yes, Dr. Friendship Keto. Let's begin to have a camera on this.
Good afternoon again,
we cross over to the next.
Honorable members of the Senate and other distinguished people present in here. I'm glad again to be called back to this honorable edifice to give my input on the public health laws, specifically with respect to the abortion law. I just want to state that the Liberia Medical and Dental Council is the arm of the government of Liberia, legislated by law in 2010, clothed with the authority to regulate medical practice in this country. So medicine is practiced all around the world, and it's an art or practice that should be guided because it involves human lives. So we're enacted by law to regulate, and our basic responsibilities as the Liberia Medical and Dental Council is we are an umbrella body of all the health workers in Liberia, not only doctors. So we include the doctors, the nurses, physician assistants, the nurse aides, social workers, and what have you. So we are close with the authority, just to summarize our goals and objectives, to register all health workers within the confines of Liberia, number one. We are to license all health workers. We are close with the authority to adjudicate cases of medical malpractices, and we are also there to set standards for health facilities and health training facilities. So we are not there just to sit down. We are there to make sure we monitor the health services in this country. I got this letter to come here, and I was kind of a little bit baffled. I didn't see the other cadre of health workers invited, because they will, if the law is passed for any reason, they will be implementing the law, and we at the level of LMDC will be there to make sure that it's done the proper way. So I honestly think they all should have been here for us to finalize what we are going to do today. I thank God that the president for the doctors is here also. So for the abortion law, like I asked the last time, and I stay appeal just in case we have been called for anything, because the law, I'm sure it keeps changing from time to time. I would highly appreciate if we can be sent the copies of those laws so we can make sure we read and come to understand, because you can come April last year and see something and read something else. So I would highly appreciate that. We didn't get that, but from what I remember from the law is that it states emphatically that before 18 weeks, the abortion can be done, and in that same paragraph, it also states that it should be done, by a competent person and on a proper standards. So that's where we come in. As a Christian, like I said the last time, I would say no to abortion, but it's not. I don't have any colors of right to come here and impose my Christianity on anybody. We are talking professional matters here, so we just want to make sure that proper mechanisms are set in place for those things to happen. Our people, economically, we are downtrodden in this country. Our illiteracy rate is high. People don't have the real IQ to make decisions. Right now, like, people keep insinuating that abortion law being there since 1976. Fair enough. The abortion law is not written in concrete stone that it cannot be changed, it cannot be amended, it cannot be removed. So it should be a reliance to say because abortion law was there, so we should get something else. If we're looking at abortion law, it's not okay, it's a good thing for us to change it. So, from my stand, from the Medical and Dental Council, I think we don't have the requisite resources and infrastructure to implement, to safeguard the practice of those kind of things. Other places where people do these things, they have all of the logistics to move around. Since I would say again, since we moved to LMDC, we are being completely incapacitated. And sometimes when we leave the post, we don't have to say that, but we don't have to, as I had to appear before this body and I can use my own private car to come. You keep saying it, people who are close to power when you tell them, it's like they just rush you out. So there's no way, if somebody wants to go and do, they want to, abortion be happening before. So they would say that as a medical doctor, I took an oath. So I took an oath to help patients, to help whoever. So the abortion that we do in the hospital under medical guardians, we need time to add law to do those things. If somebody wants to get married, they don't have to, if woman and man want to get married, they don't have to come here to say law, say woman and man are married. Some things are just implied. So, in as much as I don't have, any major objection against that in my role as a medical regulator, I don't think we are up to that standard to safeguard anything. We'll just be opening up Pandora box. So for now, we're not there. And besides that, I think it should go back to the other cadres of health workers to make sure we all come up with one idea and come. As we stand now, we have one of our colleagues who has been threatened to be sacked and resign because he went and signed paper somewhere and didn't go back to the body. So I really say my own, and now how to call it lawmaker, but I have my own constituents who have the confidence in me, and I speak for them. I don't speak for myself. Yes. It's important to know that. It's important to know that this position I'm in is an elected position. It's a non-salaried. So you need to have your own idea to give to how to be able to speak to people. So you're not compromise. I work for LMDC, but I'm not paid by LMDC. So I don't want to get out there and people say you compromise. So we talk about how to call it statistics that 500% the abortion. What I feel. If you get statistics, you don't just read it, just to read them. You got to analyze the statistics. When do those people come to the hospital? Why did they come to the hospital late? If they went to the hospital, they didn't have the requisite treatment there. They didn't meet licensed practitioners. That when we come in as medical, as regulatory body to go in and see who did it, whether they know the lessons on that, or we can't do anything. Yesterday, they called me and somebody they sent me to Redemption Hospital. I didn't even have squash to go and call anybody. And we're not making politics out of this thing because our people believe in us. So as it is now from the level of the LMDC, if the law wants to go, people have the power to go and want to do, but we are not prepared at the level of LMDC. The country is not prepared. We don't have the infrastructure, we don't have logistics, we don't have anything. So I rest my case for now.
Thank you.
She's representing the LMDC.
She is representing the LMDC. We just listened to her presentation in regards to the abortion law.
On the abortion law.
Good afternoon again. I'm Mrs. Bento Zogle Tehonge. As I said earlier, I work for the Ministry of Health. I have oversight responsibility for reproductive, maternal, newborn, and adolescent health. My bosses have said enough. I'm going to take it from the point of sexuality education and family planning. I heard one of our senators said it's good to prevent the pregnancy, and fair enough, it is good to prevent the pregnancy, and that program has been going on all over the country. Sexuality education, like my boss said, is very important for the children to understand. I remember in 1996, right after the war, UNICEF produced a little booklet called I'm a Child, I Have Rights. And in that booklet, it also told you who you are, why are you saying you are a girl or you are a boy, your organs, and when the boy's voice will deepen, when the girl's breast will come, and all of those things. Those are all sexuality education. It also tells you what part of your body should be touched by someone else, and it is not bad, and which part of your body will be touched by someone else, and it is bad. The sexuality education it stems from there. And we are giving the education to our children so that as they grow up, they make informed decisions. I went to River G, where in the southeast we had a tripartite adolescent health program, and that is at community, at health facility, at school. Everything about sexuality education, family planning, and everything should be done in those three areas. And the supervisors we have in the field were all tackled by the community people saying, oh, we are the ones showing their children men and women business, and we are the ones teaching their children other things. Sorry. So when we got there, I asked only one question. How many of us in this room have children who are in school and they are to do their assignment on internet? And almost everybody put their hand up. How many of us in the room buy the internet credit and give to our children to do the assignment? And everybody put their hand up. Then my question is, do you know that they do more than the assignment? And everybody look at me. When I was growing up, if my father had the opportunity to have a small TV, it was in one corner where he decided when I went to see what he wanted me to see. Today, there's YouTube, there's WhatsApp, there's Facebook, there's Instagram, there's everything. That the children who we buy the internet for to go and do assignment look at everything, including pornography. And once the children look at pornography, they will want to experiment what they see. During the period of experimentation, HIV is spread, syphilis is spread, unwanted pregnancy come about, and that becomes excess baggage for us, the parents. So all that sexuality education is doing is to help our children make informed decisions at the right time. So that not everything you see on YouTube is good for you, or at this time. And so we parents are also helping our children to see other things other than doing their assignment, and they end up in other things. The second point I want to raise is that even me, some years back, I started talking to my daughter about menstruation and growing up and other sexuality issues were an OD. So I never did it. But because I did not do it and they did not know, when menses came, they ran to other people and they were bullied. Today, I learned to tell my younger daughter everything, and she's not being bullied. And we are only helping from the health side to safeguard the growing up and the sexuality of our people. It is not that we want to introduce something else to the children. As it relates to family planning, last 2 weeks, I have to send one of the technical officers to Broadville.
The school fee alone at family planning,
I say to Broadville. So one group, relations group, are having workshop with people. And one of the things that we learned from there is that family planning wasn't good. Now today, my honorable sister is asking whether we are preventing. And we try to prevent, but in the community, there are counter forces. Sometimes people say, oh, you don't have to. Now, like Honorable Tule said, my boss, you will show everybody everything, but there will be some people who will be deviant. And because they're deviant, they not go in line, should we let them go unattended? And my answer is no. Family planning is there. Anybody who missed the family planning and had unprotected sex, there is something called emergency pills. So within 72 hours, we also make provision. Somebody who is on family planning and did not take the family planning tablet and then they have unprotected sex, you have the opportunity within 72 hours to still protect yourself from unwanted pregnancy. So you have the emergency pills. There are family planning programs going on, and there are family planning commodity. But the first thing that starts with family planning is counseling. And I tell people the thing is two, is combined with family planning. We are interested in family, but we want you to plan your family properly. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, now we will turn our attention to the religious community. Oh, sorry, please. 3 minutes.
Thank you very much. So thank you very much for I represent the Liberia Medical Dental Association. I'm Dr. A.K. Casero, and I'm here with my legal team, presented by Professor. Okay, I'm A.K. Casero III, Dr. A.K. Casero III. I'm the current president of the Liberia Medical and Dental Association. I came along with my legal team, who is headed by Dr. Councilor Sharif. So we have carefully perused the document, and we are presenting our position statement for the proposed public health bill. Now, as a Liberia Medical and Dental Association, we as a group oppose the passage of the bill because for several reasons. Our decision was based on the current penal law that existed from 1976. And so we'll give a synopsis of the current penal law. We believe that current penal law.
You have 3 minutes.
Yes.
Please.
You know how many people be speaking? You have to take any time you want to get the time to man.
Mr. Chairman, information. Mr. Chairman, information. Mr. Chairman, information. Colleagues, I ask the chairman for information. Please listen. Mr. Chairman and colleagues, Mr. Chairman, here's my information. We said that we should invite witnesses to do the presentation. Considering that today is the final day towards this public hearing towards this bill, I think, Mr. Chairman, let's give the witnesses the opportunity to exhaust the document that of the presentation. So please give everyone the level playing field, give them this, so they can do the presentation, and they have started, Mr. Chairman. Okay.
Yeah, come.
I speak based on my prerogative oath to save all life, but not some life. And our oath tells us to abstain from whatever is deleterious and mischievous. So I'll give a synopsis of the current law. The current law states that abortion will be allowed in exceptional cases where it threatens the life of the mother, which includes rape, incest, or felonious intercourse, and fetal disability. And we call this medical or therapeutic abortion. Now, the current present law from 1976 does not allow abortion based on demand or economic reason. However, they left a provision that mothers could be treated if they have a self-criminalized abortion. If mother perform abortion and they come to the hospital, we should treat them. We will not treat them as criminals, we will treat them as patients. That's what the law says. Now, the existing law also has strict restriction on who perform these abortions.
Right.
And so we should consider this very critically, because the question is that, will doing more abortion save more life with the new law? No. Now the proposed law is stating that the abortion laws allow the men for 14 weeks, for which 90% of fetuses will be aborted. Imagine a population, how it will be diminished. Imagine our population, 5 million, we have stuck to 5 million for many years. The next thing is that beyond 14 weeks, okay, what happens there is very vague in the law. The new law allows anybody to perform unskilled practitioner to perform this very delicate and difficult procedure. Now, as LMDA, we strongly oppose this law because we believe that scientifically, I'm not speaking as a religious leader, scientifically, life begins at fertilization. Sperm comes, air comes, life. So if we are going to be the executioners, we detest that. The next thing is that the article that was presented by the Ministry of Health, published in 2022, I think it's flawed because the data analysis was not very clear. There was one statistic that projected that 10% or 40% abortion or cause of maternal mortality. We believe that the statistics will be very clarified, more detailed and analytical. Secondly, even the conclusions that was in that document states clearly that it endorses the public health law for abortion to be passed. So I think that study is biased. The next thing is that the concerns for gestational age. If we say kill all babies at 14, you do think in the future we're going to start killing at 36? It's possible. That's what the law brings. The next time you hear that, oh, let's push it to 36, or let's push it to 28, then 36. The next is that I have concerns of population growth. I have concerns about, especially the national concern. Liberia has a stagnant population. We're not growing. If you drive from here to Nima County, the place is empty. Nobody. Only Habitat. Exactly. So why should we exterminate? Why should we exterminate our race at the detriment of our own health system? I'll rest.
Yeah, no, I said, Gary, you know we're not allowed that yet. Please don't change the rules. Alright? Please don't change the rules. We're not allowed that yet. Alright? Please. Be on your best behavior. Okay, so let's go to the community. Leader Brown?
Yes.
Observation.
We invited them. We invited and on the campaign to stop abortion, the Muslims are there and the Tribanian was. Yeah, Mr. Chair, honorable senators, I believe I can read what I wrote so that I can avoid repeating myself. In the name of the Most High God, who has guided and sustained our dear country, Liberia, from its foundation through 2 centuries of trials and triumphs. We, representing all shades of Liberian religious identity and experience, greet you and commend you for the invite to appear here today to share our thoughts on the ongoing debate by members of the Senate regarding the public health law of Liberia. We are therefore here to ask and to state clearly that the abortion section, including the component on comprehensive sexuality education in the public health bill before the Liberian Senate, be removed. We believe that the CSE will sexualize our children, teach children as young as 6 years old to learn how to ejaculate, and 2 or 3 years old will also learn how to masturbate. At 9 years old, the children will be given sex education to make conscious decisions about whether or not to have sexual experiences. We want to make it very clear that when it comes to the protection of our religious, traditional, and cultural values, this issue is of utmost importance to us. If the extreme abortion section in the public health law remains in the bill and you vote in support of the public health bill, we consider you as voting contrary to the religious, traditional, and cultural values of Liberia. That was why we established the online petition, www.stopliberiaabortionbill.com, to call the attention of our senators to our rejection of the abortion and the CSS portion of the bill. On the current law, 1976 law, abortion is allowed in exceptional cases, exceptional circumstances, where the mother's life is at risk, rape, incest, felonious intercourse, and the disability of the fetus. These are rare situations. The extreme abortion section in the public health bill will scrap our current law and replace it with an extreme law that allows abortion for any reason on demand, up to when the baby in the womb is at 14 weeks gestation. And it's easy to make a law. The law is like a motorcar rope. When you fix it, you don't know what will pass on it. Unfortunately, the Liberian House of Representatives has endorsed the bill and passed it on to the Honorable House of Senate for concurrence.
It may interest you to know, Honorable Senators, that in countries that allow abortion on demand, a very small percentage of abortions are performed for the extreme situations covered by our current law. And over 95% happen on demand under 14 weeks. So the proposed law will not allow over 95% of abortions to happen. It has been estimated that this change will allow abortion in exceptional cases or circumstances to allow abortion on demand will lead to up to the losing of up to 40,000 lives of babies every year. And somebody here just struck an important point. In the Malawi Union, we're about 52 million people. Sierra Leone is about 78 million, Guinea 12, 13 million, Ivory Coast 25 million, Liberia 5 million. Liberia is 5 million. This is why we are asking you now to vote for the passage of the whole section of abortion and comprehensive sexuality education to enable you adequately engage the citizenry of Liberia, consult the religious, traditional, and cultural community across the country, and they pass the book to defer the passage to the new legislature for further consideration, given the criticality of the issue. There is a few engagement ongoing at the moment, following the conduct of a 3-day training and awareness workshop that brought together more than 30 few coordinators for 12 to 15 counties in Liberia, from December 15 to the 17th in Burraville. That session was addressed and facilitated by a former senior deputy assistant administrator of USAID. Since the return of the few coordinators in their respective counties, one of the immediate feedback is that the people are not aware of the current attempt to revise the abortion law and do not support it. Another concern from the few is the need for a strong public health education program, which we think will address some of the concerns of the Ministry of Health about who and where abortion should take place. Is there any such thing as safe abortion? Does abortion kill a baby? Is it not associated with harms to the mother, including infection, perforation, etc.? If we allow abortion under a certain health sectors, who will pay for it? The pregnant woman or the government of Liberia? Do we have the facility to minimize injuries and mortalities? As representative of the religious community, just want to share a few scriptures representing the life of a baby in the mother's womb. Psalm 139 verse 13 says, "For you were formed in my inward parts. You covered me in my mother's womb." Jeremiah 1:4-5 says, "Then the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Before you were formed, I knew you. I ordained you a prophet to the nations." St. Luke chapter 1 verse 41-44 says, "When Elizabeth heard Mary's greeting, the baby leaped in her womb. Amen. And Elizabeth was filled with the Holy Spirit. In a loud voice she exclaimed, Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the child you will bear. But why am I so favored that the mother of my Lord should come to me? As soon as the sound of your greeting reached my ears, the baby in my womb leaped for joy." The baby in my womb leaped for joy. The baby in my womb leaped for joy. The baby in my womb leaped for joy. Should we kill that baby? Should we kill that baby leaping for joy? St. Luke chapter 1 verse 41-44. So, Honorable Chair, I want to say thank you for inviting us. This is a crucial issue. And we all should work together on this. I think that this bill needs reconsideration in the Ministry of Health, the religious community, and all the other community. We can sit down in the new year and have a conversation on this. But going forward with this, you got no guarantee that if you pass this law that you will honor my abortion in Liberia. Amen. And the fact that you're using a pastor as an example, I don't know why you use a medical doctor as an example, to suggest that only pastors can give their children for abortion.
Whether this pastor? No.
I mean, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to play. So yes, I understand. Yeah, I'm closing, Senator. I'm closing. I'm just excited about all of this and on behalf and then for the rest of the religious community, I'm glad that Monsignor Jube is here. I'm glad that the acting president of the Council of Churches is here. And Dr. Zobar is here. The rest of the ministers who are here. And I want you to know the business community, we are resolving this. We don't support this bill in its current faction. The component on sexual education, on abortion, we don't support it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Honorable Chair, honorable members of the Senate, it's an honor as a Catholic, it's an honor for us representing the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Liberia, indeed the Catholic Church of Liberia. I will further the last two contributors, the Medical Health Association Pro-Life and Bishop Brown. So there's no need to be repetitive. Concisely, we as a church, we maintain and uphold that life begins at conception. No human power has the right to decide to terminate their life that they never put there. Therefore, the current 1976 law must remain for the time being. It should not be changed at all until after a proper public consultation, with a bill released to the public in full for proper scrutiny and democratic process. Therefore, the whole bill must be pulled, or the section on abortion and sexuality education must be completely removed prior to its passing. If there is to be a new law on abortion solving issues with the current law, this should be done in consultation with religious leaders and the Christian Medical and Dental Association of Liberia. We have already proposed an alternative law which solves the problems being cited. If abortion is to be legalized, as you propose, it must be ratified and only come to effect after a national referendum, given that this is an issue of significant national importance. Concerning the comprehensive sexuality education, that also has already been underscored. The bill includes provisions for sexuality education for children, saying that, I quote, all individuals with no age limit have the right to the highest standard of sexual health, unquote. Sexual health is defined in the bill as having a, quote-unquote, satisfying and safe sex. This encourages children of any age to be sexually active. WHO sexuality education guidelines, which will likely be promoted and used in Liberia, teach children extremely inappropriate material. For example, 0 to 4 years old are to be taught early childhood masturbation, the right to explore gender identities, and the right to explore nakedness and the body, to be curious. 4 to 6 years old are to be taught the skills to talk about sexual matters and taught good and bad experiences of your body, what feels good. 6 to 9 years old are to be taught about acceptable sex, ejaculation, enjoyment, and pleasure when touching one's own body, in other words, masturbation. Sexual rights of children and positive influence of sexuality on health. 9 to 12 years old are to be taught the skills to make free and responsible choices and to make a conscious decision about whether to have sexual experiences or not, along with information about masturbation and orgasm. Honorable men, honorable women, ladies and gentlemen, is this what we want for the new Liberia, generations after us? The new law is not the solution. It will rather make abortion on demand. Women must be respected. We must have pity on them, care for them. In conclusion, I must say there are steps towards some improvement in the health sector. So a few months back, some group of people sent to somewhere in Africa to learn about, I think, the health insurance policy, something to introduce. I think we are beginning to start thinking about the people of this country. We need to do more to guarantee the safety, the security of every Liberian, including the one that is within the womb. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Colleagues, we'll give you the opportunity now to make your intervention. Senator Donald. You ready? Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I want to say thank you. And fellow colleagues. Fellow colleagues, let me express my gratitude to the panel, the invitees that have come to give clarity on this issue.
Chairman.
I was one person proposing that the opportunity be given to senators who are not part of the health committee. Holistically, that an invitation be accorded you all to give clarity on this issue that is trending in the Liberian Senate. Proportionally, not all of us understood very well the concepts that you have provided here. We were relying on our colleagues to give us insights, and they did well, but some of them are not experts in the area of health, and so we wanted an in-depth knowledge that would give us a cue whether we pass or not to pass. But you know, as I said the other day, abortion has become like a cliche, something that has been used over and over and over. So the concept of abortion has become so negative in our country that sometimes we alluded to criminality, we alluded to any negative things. But with that clarity, it has come to make us to believe that a decision can be taken by the Liberian Senate. But I have two concerns. One, the 1976 law, and some of us here are not lawyers, and much have been spoken about it by the panels. Mr. Chairman, I would like for the councillors that have come, they have come to observe that an opportunity be given them to give some clarity on this law from a legal perspective. Then the second one is that as aside, coming from a religious background too, as aside with all of the concepts, because I wanted to dichotomize the thought as it relates to the medical concepts and that of the cultural concepts leading to the religious concept. My concern is if this pregnancy is a threat to the survival
of the mother and the unborn child, what could be your insight as Spaniards? What could be your insight, suggestions, ideas as it relates to what could happen if action is not taken if action is not taken medically? What could happen? So my concern is I want to get that clear. When it is life-threatening, what do we do? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, you want to talk first? You had the other of the